Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni viewer, and I'm here to hop in with a very quick and very brief bit of MonsterVerse news. Because there really isn't that much to report, but there has been a statement made about what the next movie is going to be. Or at least maybe what it'll be like. So, what I want to zero in on is a statement that says, while the next movie is still going to have Godzilla and Kong at the forefront, there are still plans to have it be a little more Godzilla focused, that the intention is still for the story to be darker, that other Titans are going to be bolstered up as well in the story, and there's intention to build up the human characters a little bit better. I think that remains pretty consistent with what we've heard from the MonsterVerse up to this point. It seems like each new MonsterVerse movie in some way addresses at least some sort of critique that was made against a previous movie. When it started off, people said that they didn't think Godzilla 2014 had enough monster action in it, and they liked the monster stuff in Kong Skull Island, so King of the Monsters had more monster action in it. But then people said, well, that was better, but we still don't like how you're cutting away from the fights, so Godzilla vs. Kong didn't cut away from the fights as much. Then people said, well, you know, at this point you may as well just make a movie that's way more focused on the monsters since they're more interesting anyway. And so Godzilla Kong the New Empire put a lot of focus on the monsters, and that prompted a response of, you know, we just saw Godzilla -1 and remembered that human characters can actually be good, so maybe put the human characters in a bit more focus, and can we have a little more attention put on Godzilla? And from the sound of it, that's what's going to happen. I know that there was word of this happening back when Adam Wingard was still attached to direct. And he has since left to direct a Thundercats movie. But there was some concern that the ideas he was putting forward might not have stayed as he left. It looks like, in fact, those ideas are going to stick around, at least at this point. And of course, the statement about how there are going to be other Titans that are moved to the forefront alongside Godzilla and Kong. Well, I'm sure that's going to spout all kinds of rumors. You know, I mean, obviously we have our two main leads. There's a strong possibility that if Kong is coming back, Shimo and Suko will come back as well, and Suko might very well get redesigned to a certain extent. Mothra survived the end of the New Empire, so there's a chance she might come back. As far as I know, Rodan is still alive. He's never been confirmed to be killed. The opening credits for Godzilla vs. Kong only said he was defeated, which he was. So, considering he's also going to be featured in the second DC MonsterVerse crossover, maybe that's a sign he'll be back at some point too. But I'm sure there's also going to be a whole bunch of rumors about other potential monsters showing up. Obviously, there's still plenty of original Titans they can use, but you're probably going to hear the same three usual suspects mentioned. spacegodzilla, destoroyah, biollante. Or maybe people will say that the animated thing O'Shea Jackson is working on, even if I don't think that's technically part of the MonsterVerse anymore, might still be used as a template to bring in Gigan or Megalon. And some people might even get really bold and say this is hinting at the entrance of Gamera or Reptilicus or Gorgo or Gappa or some other giant monster that could potentially make their way into this. But at this point, like I said, we really don't know. The movie's still in the very early stages of development, and quite frankly, even this particular statement might not mean anything. I still recall that some of the early news surrounding Godzilla vs. Kong said that there was going to be a much bigger, more expansive human cast, and that they weren't going to bring in any other monsters besides the two title fight characters. Turns out, Mechagodzilla was brought into the movie, and not everybody who was announced for the cast actually made the final cut. So who knows at this point? You got to be careful as we're going forward, especially with all the AI content farms out there. But the important thing is, at this point, it seems like they are sticking with that original plan to go a little bit darker, have a little more focus on Godzilla, build up the human characters a bit more, and we will see if any of that pans out. But it's just a brief update I thought you guys might like to know. until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off.